It was a cold December evening in 1986 when Helle Crafts, a Danish flight attendant living in Newtown, Connecticut, simply disappeared. Her neighbors knew her as quiet, friendly, and meticulous. She had a routine: work, home, and the occasional visit with friends. But one evening, she didn't come home, and her car sat untouched in the driveway, an eerie signal that something was wrong. At first, it seemed like a simple case of a missing person. Perhaps Hell had traveled unexpectedly, as her job sometimes required. But the longer she remained absent, the more questions arose. Friends called, family worried, and authorities began to take notice. Richard Crafts, her husband, spoke to police with a calm exterior, describing where he had last seen Hella. Yet, there was something about his demeanor that made investigators uneasy. Small inconsistencies in his story began to emerge, subtle but troubling. Detectives scoured the Crafts' home, looking for clues. In the kitchen, the living room, even the garage, nothing seemed immediately out of place. But forensic investigators found traces, tiny hints that something sinister had occurred. Hair, blood fragments, and items out of order painted a puzzle that didn't match Richard's narrative. As the investigation unfolded, the case drew national attention. It was unusual: a disappearance without a clear motive, a husband who seemed composed yet evasive, and forensic evidence pointing to a hidden truth. Investigators pieced together the story like detectives in a thriller, examining every detail, every timeline, every small contradiction. Eventually, the evidence led to a shocking conclusion. Helle had been murdered. The case became historic because it relied heavily on forensic science, especially hair and blood analysis, to build a conviction. Even without a complete body, the investigators were able to demonstrate what had happened, proving that meticulous detective work could uncover the truth in the darkest of circumstances. Richard Crafts was convicted in 1987, and the community was left grappling with the unsettling realization that a seemingly ordinary neighborhood could hide such secrets. Helle's disappearance became a chilling example of how appearances can deceive, and how careful observation, science, and determination can solve mysteries that at first seem unsolvable. Even decades later, the story of Helle Crafts continues to fascinate true crime enthusiasts and investigators alike. It is remembered not just for the crime itself, but for the extraordinary investigation that brought clarity to a baffling and tragic case.